Welcome to another StereoPhoto Maker tutorial. This time we're going to talk about batch processing large numbers of images to auto-align them. And we're going to do that using the external StereoAutoAlign program. In my initial tutorial on installing StereoPhoto Maker, the back part of that tutorial shows you how to install StereoAutoAlign. So if you haven't already done that, you probably want to go follow those instructions and do it. One other thing you'll probably want to do before you embark on a lot of auto aligning is to go to Edit, Preferences, and in the Adjustment tab here, make sure you've clicked Auto Crop after adjustment. That'll make sure you don't have any excess bits of image area when the alignment process is done. So a quick OK. We're going to need a couple of subdirectories. I like to do this in the same area where my initial images are. So here are my initial images, and I'm going to go to New, Folder, and we'll make one called LR, which is going to contain the left and right halves of these images, which are side-by-side JPEGs. If your images are already separately left and right, you don't have to worry about that part. And then it can be a one-step process for you. But for MPOs or side-by-sides, you need to break them in half first, because that's what StereoAutoAlign wants. And then I'm going to create a folder for the output. I tend to call this stereo JPEG, even though these are already stereo JPEGs, out of force of habit, just because I used to do this. I guess I still sometimes do it on MPOs, and this is to remind me that these are the aligned things. You can call this aligned or something maybe a little more intuitive, whatever floats your boat. So having created those two directories, we go back to StereoPhoto Maker. We go to File, Multi-Job, and we're going to have to do this in two steps. First, we're going to break things in half, the left and right separately. So we go to multi-conversion, the same thing you would do to do auto alignment using the built-in StereoPhoto Maker auto align. We're going to turn off auto alignment because we're going to be doing that as a separate step. What we actually want is now for the input type, these we're starting off with side-by-side JPEGs. You'll choose a different radio button if yours are not side-by-side. But for the output file type, we don't want side-by-side JPEGs. We want independent left-right ones. And we have to tell it where to put them. I'm going to navigate to this LR directory under my demo area. And if you only want to do a subset of the files in this directory, you can select them in this window and then click on Convert Selected Files. I'm going to just run all of the files in this directory. So I click on Convert All Files. It tells me there are 6 of them and asks me, do I want to start? And I say yes. And so it updates me on its progress as we go through all 6. And we'll click exit. And just to make sure this worked, we go to Windows Explorer, and we'll go to this LR directory, and you can see that each image in the input now has got a left and a right separately in the LR directory. So now we need to do the second step, again going back to multi-job, and this time instead of multi-conversion, we want to run StereoAutoAlign batch processing. And our inputs are going to be in the LR directory. If you have if your initial images were left and right and their right is in a separate folder, you may need to specify that by clicking on that radio button. That's not the case for me. I need to specify the output file, and that's going to be this stereo JPEG directory, the subdirectory that I created. And what this is going to do is create a batch file that will invoke StereoAutoAlign and do the alignment. And you need to provide a name for that file. I'm going to call that align.bat. You do actually have to specify .bat in there, or else you'll get a file that Windows doesn't recognize as a batch file. And if you, again, if you want to do just certain files, you can select them in this directory and click create with selected files. We're going to do this on all files. It's very fast because all it's doing at this point is uh, making a bat file that you will execute outside of StereoPhoto Maker. So it's done it 12 files. There were originally 6 stereos, and so the left and right comprise 12 files, and we'll click OK. So going back to Windows Explorer, now in this LR area, you can see I have a bat file that shows up called align.bat. And if I double click on it, it runs and it crunches one photo at a time. And you need to remember to click any key, I guess, to continue, and that uh, window goes away. And now if we go back up to our original directory and go to the stereo JPEG area, you see that we have 6 stereos, and now they're aligned. The auto alignment is necessarily an imperfect process, but it's pretty good. And this may be good enough. If you're doing aligning for projection, you may need to do check the auto alignment and make sure that it hasn't gone astray. But for most things, this is fine. Um, I guess that covers it. Thanks for watching.